Not a bloody thing.
Well, don't worry, Lizzie. I said that we would share ours with you.
Yeah, but I should have had my own stuff.
What I'd like to know is how they got onto it.
I think that's pretty obvious.
What do you mean?
Come on, how much evidence do you need?
Kerry?
Of course. Look at all the special treatment she's getting. First of all, that big cell all to herself. And a lot less work than we've got to do. And 2 visits in the one day. You know what Vera's usually like about that. Then what about the 2 of them this morning? A bit too friendly, I thought.
Yeah, well, Vera did whisper something to her.
Then Kerry must be lagging.
Well, then we'll have to do something about it.
What?
Well, the only thing she seems to care about is her precious bloody painting. Maybe we'll have to put a spoke in that particular wheel.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What the hell's that got to do with anything? Well, we don't know for sure she was lagging, now do we?
Oh, now, come off it, Lizzie. How else would she get all that special treatment?
Well, it was Sharon who put the idea into your heads, and you all know what a little spiteful little devil she is, don't you?
Well, you must admit it does look a bit suspicious. She just walks in here and gets all those special privileges straight off.
Yeah, privileges that we had to fight years to get.
Who had to fight?
Oh, well, you know what I mean. But she's an artist. She's different.
She's no different from the rest of us. She's a crim.
Well, if Mona Lisa was put in that can, they'd treat her different. Look, would you listen to you? You're the one who missed out on the buy-up because of her. Yeah. Maybe he wants to test us. Maybe he wants us to turn the other cheek and forgive her trespassing.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If I do find out she's lagging, I'll fix her strictly according to the Bible. I'll crucify her.
Amen.
How's the cook trying to poison us tonight?
I'm working on some ideas for the drama group. I reckon we should work on some more improvisation sessions. Ken says we should stretch our imaginations and build our creative energies.
Yeah. Well, I could play a nun, and Dora could be the virgin who comes to join us. Yeah.
I said stretch our imaginations, not typically impossible.
Well, Birdsworth, I didn't think you'd be so happy after this morning. It was a pretty pathetic attempt. How's the painting coming along, Vincent?
Not so good. I'm running out of acrylics. I used a lot in the garden the other day.
I'll see what I can do.
Thanks. Well, isn't that nice? I thought they were going to kiss each other.
Ready?
No, bugger, look what you made me do. Oh, why don't you ever knock?
Well, I thought it might have been the butler's night off. Finnegatit's gone home.
How would I know?
Oh, the way you two are getting on so well together, I thought maybe she'd dropped in for the day's report before she left.
What are you getting at?
I thought that would have been obvious. The only time Vera's ever treated one of us halfway human is when she's been cultivating a spy. And with all these privileges...
A lagger. Is that what you think I am, a lagger?
Well, it does look a bit suspicious, doesn't it? Maybe that's the real reason you were sent here. What happened? They get onto you at Barnhurst.
No, you just listen to me. I've been on the inside long enough to know about laggers and what happens to them. So why don't you just trundle off to your amateur theatricals and let me get on with my work?
You want to watch it, Vincent? I'm going to be keeping an eye on you.
Oh, come on, girls. You're supposed to be the parts of a machine. Some of you look as though you've run out of petrol. Oh, Lil, will you take your elbow out of Mouse's face? Hey, what are you doing to my exhaust?
Oh, thanks, love. I just had to have a few words with our budding artist.
How'd you get on?
Oh, I think she got the message. Ah, come on, you lot. Give a bit of life into it. I reckon you need a few screws to hold you together.
Good evening, ladies. Time to turn in. As you probably know, we're rather short-staffed at the moment, so I'm taking the night shift this evening.
Oh, short-staffed, eh? Maybe tonight's the night for the big break out there.
We're not that short-staffed, Smith.
Oh. Drat.
Mrs. Davidson's not a bad old stick. Fancy working all day and then doing the night shift.
Now, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, you wouldn't find too many governors who would do it, though.
Oh, look, we'll have tea and toast for 3 about 9 a.m., thanks.
I'll send the steward.
Oh, yes, please.
Good night.
Good
night,
night,
Mrs.
Mrs.
Davidson.
Davidson.
You look as if you were out on the tiles last night.
Thanks, that's all I needed. Well, I'm glad that relieving officer's starting today. That'll take the strain off things a bit. Has he arrived yet?
No, not yet.
Well, I hope to hell he's not too green. He's probably a pimply-faced youth who... Oh, good morning.
Morning.
You must be,
Relieving Officer Jock Stewart.
Are we glad to see you? I'm Officer Meg Jackson, and this is Wendy.
Is Mrs. Davidson in?
Oh, yes, of course. Is she in her office, Wendy?
In the staff room.
Oh, well, I'll take you along and introduce you. Have you worked in women's prisons before?
As a matter of fact, no, I haven't.
Oh, just sign on, please.
Mm-hmm.
This way.
Hey.
Mrs. Davidson, this is Jock Stewart.
How do you do, Mr. Stewart? If you could have come a day earlier, you'd have found me a lot brighter than you do at the moment.
How do you do, Miss Davidson? I hear you were on the night shift last night. That's a bit unusual, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but we're a bit short-staffed at the moment, and there was no alternative. Mrs. Jackson, I'll leave you to show Mr. Stewart the ropes.
Yes, of course.
I'm going home for a couple of hours to get some sleep, and then I'll come back and catch up with my own work. It's nice to have you with us for a while, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you, Miss Davidson.
We'll have a longer chat when I'm a little bit more awake.
She seems quite a live wire.
Oh, she certainly pulls her weight. Well, ready to start?
I sure am.
The women in D Block are thinking about making up a batch of sly grog. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I suppose so. As long as they don't get caught or turn up to my drama group pissed and wreck it, otherwise I'll have them.
Right, I'll tell them.
Hey, listen, Mouse, what are they going to make?
Don't know. I think Wendy Collins's old recipe.
Oh, God, they'll poison themselves. Listen, you better ask Grizzy for a recipe.
Right, thanks.
Psst, don't psst in my ear. What do you want?
The women in D Block are going to make up some home brew, and I was wondering if you'd give them one of your recipes.
Grog? Booze?
Shut up. Keep it down.
Are you off your rocker? Do you know what that does to the fathers of little children?
We haven't got any fathers in here.
It's poisonous. It shrivels your brain, it rots your guts, it burns your throat, warms your stomach, and it makes you feel like... No! Get you behind me, Satan.
Oh, forget about it. I'm sorry I asked.
Mouse! In my heart, I cannot take part in your poisonous project, but as a personal favour, I'll just taste a little bit to see if it's all right.
All right, thanks.
Ladies, I want to introduce you to our new relieving officer, Mr. Stewart. And what's your specialty, Mr. Stewart? Whips, thumbnails, or leather boots?
Don't get smart, lassie, and there'll be no hassles.
Oh, hi, Jock. Get right away. That's enough, Gilmore. Right, you ready for the rest of the tour?
Yeah.
shaving a Scotch pig.
Oh, he's only temporary. As long as he behaves himself. Let him stay a wee whale.
I don't know about all this slide grog business in D Block. If the screws find out, we're all going to be in trouble.
Keep your voice down, Doreen. Our famous artist is at the next table, and I can see her ears twitching from here.
That's what I mean, don't you see? With a lagger in the place, it's going to be twice as dangerous.
She who lives by the sword will die by the sword.
Oh, what?
Hannah, she's coming over.
I thought you might like this.
Oh, thanks. Got the chin all wrong, but it's not bad, I suppose.
I'm not a lagger. I never have been and I never will be. It is just not my style.
Gee, it's good.
Now she's trying to suck up to you. Giving you a sketch that makes you look 10 years younger.
Why don't you rack off, Gilmore, and go and stir somewhere else?
This is Carrie Vincent's cell.
And what's with all this paint and stuff?
Well, she's one of our few minor celebrities.
What do you mean?
Well, apparently she has the makings of a very gifted artist. She's given special privileges to allow her to develop her talent.
I see. I'm afraid I don't go much in this rehabilitation stuff.
Oh? Why not?
Well, Miss Jackson, I've been working in and around prisons for quite a few years now. I usually find that most inmates are much the same.
Should get on well with Vera Bennett.
What have I done now?
Nothing, Vincent. Why? Have you got a guilty conscience? This is Officer Jock Stewart. He'll be relieving for a while.
Would it be possible for me to see Mrs. Davidson? She was going to see about getting a special lamp for my cell.
Oh, well, I'll ask her for you.
Yeah, well, I'd rather do it myself if you don't mind. It is fairly urgent.
Well, I don't know whether she's in her office at the moment, but if you come with me, we'll see.
Hey, B, the women in D section have just about finished making up their own brew. Smells great.
Oh, good, I hope not. If the screws get wind of it, there will be a stink.
Well, I think it's disgusting, all that evil booze lying around waiting for some unfortunate to fall under its influence. Wonder where they stashed it. Somewhere obvious, I'll bet.
Oh, no, it's in the old storeroom in D section.
Will you two shut up? Can't you see where you are? You want the lag to earn herself a few more privileges?
The screws have found the sly grog set up in D Block.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. It's all so sudden. 1 minute the women were brewing up and stacking it away, and the next thing the place was crawling with screws. Caught 'em red-handed.
There you are, you see. I warned them. Beware of the dangers of alcohol. I knew it'd catch up with them. But I thought that storeroom was never used. How did the screws get onto them?
Well, how do you think? Kerry bloody Vincent, of course. I warned you two this afternoon. There you were, standing outside her cell, blabbing your heads off. And last night in the dining room, Doreen was yapping her head off with that bitch only a few feet away from her.
Well, B, do you reckon you got enough proof now?
Hello, Meg.
Hi.
How's the new boy going?
Oh, he seems nice enough. Well, he was the one that found out about those goings-on in D Block. What, did you hear about that?
No.
Oh, well, apparently Mouse and her gang were brewing up some grog, and he overheard them talking about it in the corridor.
Oh, very clever of the boy.
Well, I'm glad he got onto it so early. I shudder to think how I would have dealt with him if I'd had to after a night on the booze.
How long's he with us?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose it depends on Jim. Did you know that he and Jim worked together at Pentridge?
Oh, did they just? Well, I hope Fletcher doesn't try and convince Mrs. Davidson that we could use him here on a permanent basis. There are too many men around here already, if you want my opinion.
Come off it, Vera. There are only 2 of them.
Well, there's no place for men in a women's prison. First of all, they're too soft. And secondly, there's always the risk that they could get involved with one of the inmates.
That's ridiculous. They're paid to do a job, and if they don't do it properly, they get fired like anyone else. Personally, I think it's a good idea to have another man on the staff.
Well, I don't think you're in a position to judge. There's a lot more goes on around here that you don't know about.
When you gonna give it to her, Bee?
Let her sweat for a bit.
I can hear you, Bee. And I am not sweating. Gee, it'd take more than you lot to give me a scare. What does hurt is the fact that you think I'm a lagger in the first place. Do you think Barnhurst is any different from here? Jesus, it's not my first bloody week in jail. All right, I get special privileges, and I don't give a stuff if you have it go at me for that. But I am no bloody lagger.
What's going on in here?
Oh, Whitworth's favourite daughter shooting her mouth of about
Shut up,
nothing
Smith.
as usual.
I'm sick of you lot and your petty squabbling. This place is becoming more like a hen house every day. Vincent, you've got a visitor.
I would like to smash that woman one day.
Just like you're going to smash Vincent, I suppose.
Did I hear right, Gilmore?
You don't usually waste any time, Bee. Vincent has a go at you and you just sit there.
Ah, well, that's because I'm getting smart. You see, I am going to get Vincent, but I'm going to do it without getting caught. However, I can take just so much. And if you don't keep your mouth shut, I'm going to smash your face in. Anyone else got any good advice? Hey, what about Bucket Mouth? Does she get an extra hour's sleep every time she lags?
You're looking for another stretch in solitary, Smith. Hurry up, Vincent.
I hope she hasn't looked in the mirror, because the beauty sleep definitely hasn't worked.
I've met some gutless bastards in my time, Smith, but you really opened my eyes. How do you feel, huh? Tough. Hero. Look, you're on the wrong track anyway, but it's the bloody spineless way you do things that gets to me. That painting was the best thing I've ever done, and I am right.
I know what you're talking about. But I'll tell you one thing. If you don't pull your head in, I'll knock it off. Now, piss off.
Anderson, come with me. Mrs. Davidson wants to see you in her office.
I heard that, Smith. And if I can prove you ruined that painting, you'll regret it, I promise you.
Well, you obviously weren't listening properly, because I don't know what the hell she's talking about. And if I wanted to get her for lagging, I would not be mucking around with bits of canvas.
Nothing would surprise me about you, Smith. Are you still saying you ruined that painting by yourself?
Yeah, I am. Thanks for last night. You're not as hard as everyone says.
Who did it? But she bloody well deserved it. All laggers deserve what they get, I reckon. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, I say.
You know, it's got me tossed. If she is a lagger, why hasn't she lagged on whoever smashed her painting?
She might be scared.
She might be. Where have you been, Gilmore?
I'm not sure that's any of your business. But if you must know, I've been to see Paul Reed to get permission to see Judy.
And who do you think smashed Vincent's painting?
I did. Well, if we waited for you to do something, we'd all be out of here.
You brainless little bastard. We're not sure Vincent is the lagger.
Oh, come on, you said she was yourself.
Well, now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, well, I reckon she deserves to be taught a lesson. She gets favours from the screws, so I don't care either way.
Oh, that's nice. Maybe you don't care either way if I break your stupid neck. Now get out of my sight. Why don't you go over to the hospital and cut off your friend's blood supply?
And Mr. Reed said that he'd get someone to tell me what to invest it in. That's terrific, Dor. You could become one of them typhoons.
What about Kevin? You can't string that poor bloke along forever, you know.
Yeah, I know. He's written to me a couple of times, but I never wrote back.
You're bloody mad, Dor. Got a bloke who wants to marry you. He's got a good job. You got a few bob and a house to shift into. Half your luck, I say.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. But I'll tell you something. If it does work out the way you say, you've got to promise to come and live with us.
Get away. You don't want a silly old bugger like me living with you.
Oh, of course we do. You know what? We could do up your room just the way you like it, and then we could go shopping.
Play your trump.
What trump?
The one you've been sitting on.
No. And these are the two best tarts.
Oh.
We done them like a dinner, didn't we, Dor?
Yeah, I reckon if Lizzie had been with Sitting Bull, the Indians would have won the war. Come to think of it, she probably was. She's old enough.
That counts us out, doesn't it, Dor?
Sure does.
Means you owe me 10 cigarettes, Ben. I don't want any of them bloody awful ones you gave me before.
Well, I thought I was doing you a favour. You keep saying you want to give up smoking. Kerry, we'll be back soon.
So?
I just thought that when she finds out who smashed her painting, she's not going to be very pleased.
Gonna lag on me, eh?
You call me a lagger, girlie. And it isn't lagging when you're just setting the record straight.
Remember in the halfway house? We could play cards all night and nobody turned the lights out or nothing.
I suppose that's why you were breaking your neck to get back in here.
Oh, just because I was so bloody lonely doesn't mean to say I don't miss it.
I'll save it for Paul Reed.
Anyway, the next time we get out, Lizzie, we won't be making the same mistakes.
You've said it. Think of all them fags I pinched and I didn't even smoke one of them.
Oh, hi, Kerry. How'd the exhibition go?
Yeah, love, sit down here and tell us all about it.
No, thanks.
Oh, listen, love, about that
What
business
Lizzie's trying to
before.
say is, we know you're not a lagger.
Well, that's a turn up.
No hard feelings?
All right. Except for one thing.
What's that?
Who messed up my painting?
Is it making a difference?
It does to me.
But if there's any trouble, you're only going to lose privileges.
B, I want to know.
Well, let's say absent friends.
Sharon. Oh. Don't worry, I'll find her.
Well, I wouldn't like to be in Sharon's size far as when she does. Lizzie probably nicked it.
Why, if anything goes missing, I always get the blame.
It's usually you that knocks it off.
Oh!
Oh, it's okay. I found it anyway.
Vincent apparently thinks she's royalty. Lives at a slower pace than the rest of us. Any time you miss on normal duties will be made up out of your painting time. What are you smoking for, Gilmore? There's garbage to be collected before breakfast.
What's got into vinegar?
Just a misunderstanding.
Oh, well, strategy for the day, girls. Stay out of Vera's way.
Oh, so what's new?
Oh, the light in here is awful.
What?
Oh, the light. It's flat and bloody ugly. Thank God I got my lamp.
Sharon, Miss Bennett's looking for you.
So, didn't Vera say there was some garbage? She wouldn't mean Sharon, would she?
Shouldn't be too long now. Been a bit short-staffed and the work starts piling up, you know.
I'm used to waiting.
Been at this rehabilitation stuff for some time now, have you?
A few years.
Funny, I don't remember seeing you at Pentridge. You know, I was there myself for very long. Came from New South Wales. Shoved me right into maximum security. Tough lot of bastards there, I can tell you.
Maybe they didn't like the way they were being treated.
No, you've been lucky. You've only been dealing with the good ones. I tell you, it makes a sweet change working in a woman's prison, I can tell you that. What made you take up this sort of work in any case?
I was inside for 20 years. I figured I owed the system something.
Mr. Jackson. This gentleman here has an appointment with B. Smith. Can you see to it, please?
Yes, Mr. Stewart.
Miss Bennett, I'd like to thank you for coming to Kerry's exhibition. She's got a lot of talent, but she does need that sort of encouragement.
The only talent she's got is for lying and using people.
Look, if you could go through, Mr. Pierce, I'll get an officer to go with you. Look, it's only until they can investigate. You'll be cleared in no time.
Look, I had what happened, and I'm sorry. You know, you look like you could use a drink. It's not true what they say about Scotsmen. Our wallets aren't glued to our spawns all the time, you know.
I've got to pick up a painting.
The painting?
Well, I should have known when she gave it to me. She was setting me up.
Yeah, well, we all make mistakes. I got suspended myself once, you know. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I reckon it's about time something was done about it.
Well, you certainly got the mood of the play and what it's trying to say. That's a good start.
So glad you approve.
How's rehearsal going?
Funny, I could have sworn you'd lost interest.
Look, I know I haven't been by as often as I should, but, well, I have been flat to the boards.
So I've noticed. Must take a lot of time setting up art shows. Kerry must have a lot of talent for you to take such a personal interest.
Yes, I think she's talented. And I also think that talent is going a long way towards rehabilitating her. That's why I'm pressing for an early release. And that's the only reason I'm interested in her.
Would you try it on me? Or aren't I talented enough?
You know, you really don't give me much credit for knowing what it's like to be locked away from someone, do you? Too much time to think, get things out of proportion. You start imagining all sorts of things.
Imagining?
Look, Bea, I know things go wrong sometimes, but I also know that that can be helped along by suspicions and accusations and forgetting what it's like to trust someone.
Trust? My old man was shacked up with a little tart 3 weeks after they put me inside.
Oh, boy, one lousy experience and you start jumping to conclusions every time, don't you? Look. I know it's a tall order expecting someone to remain loyal all the time, but if that someone really cares, whatever happens on the outside won't change that.
I wouldn't be a fool if she thought a man could be happy with just seeing her for a few minutes every now and then.
That depends on how much he cares. And he could care one hell of a lot about her.
Mongrel thing.
What are you doing, Lizzie?
I knew they hadn't chucked them away.
Chuck what away?
The costumes. You remember? When we did Alibaba and the 40 Thieves for the kids in the nursery.
Oh, yeah?
I thought we could cut them up and use them for material for your play. I reckon Mr. Pierce would be real pleased.
Dum, dum, da, dum. Dum, dum, da, dum. Guess what?
You're not.
Yes, tomorrow afternoon in the garden.
You mean you and Kev are getting married in the prison?
Yeah, but it'll still be fair dinkum, Lizzie.
Oh, dog.
Oh, good on you, mate.
About bloody time.
Oh, thanks. I'm only allowed to ask my closest friends, so I thought I'd ask Bea, Lizzie, Judy, Kerry, and Roz if she's allowed.
You left me out.
Ah.
If she'd invite the whole prison, you'd be left out.
It won't feel the same, though, if you don't get married in a church.
Oh, bull, of course it will. As long as you tie the knot.
What's the matter with him, Doreen? An old queen or something? Must be if he gets married to you.
You shut your filthy mouth.
There was no need for that, Gilmore.
Why, Mr. Fletcher. I'd forgotten you were still here. You're going to spend 24 hours with us now. You've got nothing to go home to.
You're a vaulting little worm.
Since when have you been worried about a screw's feelings?
His wife and both his kids were killed. Now, unless you want the same thing to happen to you, I'd get out of here.
Okay. But I only wanted to tell you about Vera. She's been suspended. I heard the screws talking. Something about her making Kerry give her a painting in return for paints and stuff.
That true?
No. I mean, that's what I told the governor. My agent thought it'd be good publicity. Oh, I didn't want her to get the sack. I just wanted to, well, get back at her for being rough on me. Better tell Mrs. Davidson the truth.
No way. If they want to find out the truth, let them find it out for themselves. They've been looking for a way to get rid of Vera for years.
Wedding in the church. We could all get out for the day.
Oh, I suppose you'd like the reception at the Hilton.
Yeah, that's a pub, isn't it?
Starting to get the shakes a bit, Mrs. Jackson.
How's it going now you got Vera off your back?
Oh, got to admit I can concentrate more.
All right, ladies, move along. Miss Bennett asked me to give you this. Been checking up your file, Vincent. Drunk, prostitute. Killed a client for criticizing you. Miss Bennett criticized you too, didn't she?
She doesn't know anything about me or my work.
Well, she knew enough to like that. And if you don't tell the governor that, I'll see to it that you never paint again. At least not in prison.
I knew it. Everything's going wrong.
Well, didn't you tell him what size you were? Doreen?
Well, yeah, but I told him I was a size smaller.
Oh, good.
Well, I didn't want him to think I was chubby.
Well, he's going to find out sooner or later.
Yeah, but then I'll have 6 months to diet, won't I?
Give it to me, Doreen. Someone in the laundry can let it out.
Oh,
Oh, and there's no need to panic. We've got plenty of time.
Kevin's gone and forgotten to put in stockings too, Mrs. Jackson.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll just go down and borrow a pair.
And make sure you do ask for them, Lizzie, please. Now, will you stop worrying? It'll be ready in no time.
I never should have rushed into it.
Well, I see you're almost ready.
What are you doing here?
Judy's not coming to your wedding. She said she doesn't want to.
Well, it just so happens Judy beat you to it. And she said she was feeling crook.
Yeah, and it's any wonder living in the same cell with you, faceache.
Getting married. Well, that's typical, isn't it? They're so busy allowing that sort of charade to go on that they don't know what's happening underneath their noses.
Look, you're back. That's the main thing.
Oh, yes, well, I don't know how you did it, but thank you.
Just took a bit of detective work, that's all. Yes, sir.
I'd like to have a word with Doreen Anderson, thanks.
You had a visit with her yesterday. Against regulations. 2 visits in as many days.
Oh, do me a favour. Come on, look, it's urgent. It's business.
Is it about us selling that house? See, those interview rooms are smaller than you might think. It's our job to keep our ears open in case some things are said that shouldn't be said.
Yeah, well, it's in her interest, you see. Look, we're prepared to offer her a little bit more money. Hey? I'm sure a girl in her position can use every bit of help she can get.
Something old, something new, and I want that back. Something borrowed. Well, your stockings are borrowed. And something blue.
What is that?
It's a bit of old uniform.
I can't carry all this, Lizzie.
Of course you can. Just shove them down your front. It's bad luck if you don't.
I thought you might like this.
Oh, Kerry, it's gorgeous. Where'd you get it?
Oh, I made it. Well, it'll last. It's paper.
Oh, thanks, Kerry.
Oh, not now.
Well, I could tell him to wait.
Doreen, there's someone at reception wanting to speak to you about selling your mother's house.
But I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it. Kevin and I are going to live in it when I get out of here, and I won't change my mind.
Atta girl.
All right, I'll help Doreen with the rest. You lot better go out to the garden.
Well, goodbye, Doreen Anderson. Hello, Mrs. Kevin Burns.
Oh, do. It will be all grown up.
We're here today to share in a marriage ceremony between Doreen May Anderson and Kevin Arnold Burns. My name is Sandra Peterson, and I am duly authorized by law to solemnize this your marriage according to the laws of this country. Before you, Doreen Anderson, and you, Kevin Burns, are joined in marriage in my presence and the presence of your friends, I am to remind you of the binding nature of the relationship which you are about to enter. Marriage, as most of us understand it, is a voluntary and final commitment of a man to a woman and a woman to a man. It is made in the deepest sense to the exclusion of all others and is entered into with the desired hope and the firm intention that it will last for life.
What's the matter with her? We're offering her good money, aren't we?
Doesn't mean much to some people. I can't understand it myself, being a man who likes the finer things of life. I'll tell you what, though. I'm a bit of a businessman myself. I might be able to help you fellas out. I mean, Anderson can't very well send me away, can she?
We will not wish you joy on this great day, for joy is in your hearts and goes with you along the fragrant, mystic, sunlit way. We will not wish you joy while love is new, but this our wish, may you be strong enough to shelter love and keep it safe from harm. When winds blow high and roads are steep and rough, may you protect your love and preserve its charm. Kevin Arnold Burns, will you love her and respect her, be honest with her, and stand by her whatever may come, so you can genuinely share your lives together?
I will.
Doreen May Anderson, will you love him and respect him, be honest with him, and stand by him whatever may come, so you can genuinely share your lives together?
I will.
I will now ask you to make your marriage vows. Face each other, holding hands, and repeat the vows after me.
With this ring, I thee wed. Take it and wear it as a pledge of my love and all that we share together.
As you have consented together in lawful marriage, in the presence of these witnesses, I now declare you to be man and wife. You may kiss the bride.
You'll be wanting to give this to your kids one day, Dor.
I gave it to you, Lizzie.
Oh, a bony old crow like me be getting a bloke.
He bought me a lovely dress, didn't he?
Yep. He's got real class.
Yeah. I don't even feel married, except for this.
He'll be coming to visit you, and you'll be out before you know it, love. And you'll sit up house together, and you'll have lots of kids. And when I come to visit you, I'll be able to tell the kids what a beautiful bride you were.
What are you talking about coming to visit? You'll be living with us.
Oh, it's different when you're married, love. You've got to have time together. You wouldn't want an old woman hanging around making a nuisance of yourself. You've got to have time to get to know each other. I know that. Anyhow, I've got to make a life of my own, you know. How am I expected to get a bloke with you two getting in me way?
Oh, Lizzie.
Oh, I don't know why we're all so flaming miserable. We've just been to a wedding, not a funeral.
Yeah, and you got to kiss him and all in front of the screws. You made history today, Dor.
Look, in a couple of years, love, all you remember about today was you had a really beaut wedding. You could have a honeymoon when you get out. Now, if you were in my shoes, you'd really have something to complain about. Imagine what it'd be like if someone like Ken and me got married. Good. We'd wait 10 years. And the best I can hope for is he'll still be coming to the prison.
Well, this is some party, I must say. Whatever happened to this is the happiest day of your life, huh? Well, congratulations, Doreen. Carrie said you looked fantastic.
Oh, thanks, Judy.
Hey, listen, I thought this might make the room look a bit more homey.
Oh, Carrie, this is the nicest picture I've ever seen. Thanks.
All right, the wedding's over, Anderson. This should have been taken back to reception.
Her name's Burns. Mrs. Burns.
I'll call her what I like. I'll check it before it goes back.
Oh, careful, Miss Bennett, you're crushing it all.
Come on, Miss Bennett's got to have a really good perv. After all, it's the closest she's ever going to get to a wedding dress.
Get out of here, all of you. Not you, Vincent. I want a word with you.
Oh, welcome back, Vera.
If God had meant us to keep away from men, he'd have made the world into 2 big prisons. Go on.
Yeah. Anyone would reckon it's the biggest crime in the book in this place, yet they don't seem to care if 2 women get together. Oh, Judy, I'm sorry. I only meant...
I know what you meant, love. It's just that they haven't got their heads screwed on right, that's all.
We used to have a girl in here once, Marilyn. We were having the place rewired, and that's how she got to meet Eddie. We used to keep the screws real busy so that she could spend some time alone with him.
Yeah, do you reckon you could do that for me and Kevin next time he comes in?
Oh, come off it. Eddie had free run of this place. You and Kevin hardly even get out of the interview room.
I wasn't thinking of Dora. I was thinking of you and Ken.
Oh, you must be a rocker.
I hate that woman. Why does she have to be so bloody nasty?
Well, you were the one that owned up. What are you expecting to do? Get on her knees and thank you?
Would be easier for you and Ken, B. Because at least he's allowed into all parts of the prison, even like in here.
Hey, where did Marilyn and what's-his-name go?
Up there or in the storeroom?
I can just see Ken and me scrambling up a ladder. Well, not exactly Marilyn and Eddie, you know. Besides, who said Ken would be even interested?
Oh.
He likes you, doesn't he?
And he is a man.
Yes.
Who says you'd get caught? Well, I just want a chance to make a fool out of some of the screws.
You mean you got an idea?
Maybe. Actually, Lizzie gave it to me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
That's right.
Eh?
Was influenced by her agent at the time and had no idea that her accusation would cause such repercussions.
Well, don't you think we're getting off the track? Letting Vincent give art classes isn't exactly giving her another privilege. It's for the women. Maybe she's trying to make up for what she did.
Rubbish. She can't be trusted.
Well, they're going to be held before work, so I can't see that it's going to interfere with routine.
Well, how are we going to supply all the equipment?
I have already spoken to Ken Pierce. He can arrange the necessary items without any expense to the prison.
Then I don't see why there was any point in asking us what we feel about it.
I have contacted the same newspaper which published the so-called blackmail story, and they are sending in a reporter to sit in on the classes.
The last time a reporter was here, the women smuggled out information with him.
They are not to be told that a reporter will be here, Miss Bennett. Besides, I think it's time Wentworth received some good publicity for a change.
I wish Jude was here.
Yeah, she's missing out on all the fun.
Listen, there's going to be some trouble in a minute, so when it happens, just go to the storeroom at once.
And what are you talking about?
Don't ask any questions, just do it, please. Bea'll explain everything to you later. Look, trust us.
I saw that, you old thief. Give him back.
I never took nothing.
Don't start anything, Hunt.
It isn't me, it's her.
Oh, leave her alone.
Oh, shut up, Sax.
don't you dare call Oh, she started.
No, I never did. Lizzie pinched me pencils.
Oh, there they are. I'll pick them up for you, Phil. They must have fallen off the chair.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, Lizzie.
Oh, that's all right, Phil.
Any more of this nonsense and we'll stop the classes altogether. Understand?
Okay, now, if everybody's ready, let's just get on with it, huh?
Where's Mr. Pierce?
Oh, I think he must have gone to get some more things, Miss Bennett.
Ladies, this gentleman is here as an observer. I trust you will remember there is a guest in the room. Would you like to sit down?
Thank you.
Carry on.
Right, V, would you like to go and get changed?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now Bee's going to be changing. She's going to be our model for us. But while she's changing, I'll just explain the pencils we're going to use, that sort of thing. Now, it's always best to use a very heavy accented line crossing a lighter unaccented line. I'll explain that later when I draw. All right? Now.
Are you ready for me?
Yeah, come in. Now, always make sure when you're concentrating on the garment that you use a model. That's right. You see, you need to have a body underneath to see how the clothes wrinkle and fall, you know, that sort of thing. And make sure that the pose doesn't distort the garment. I think it's always best to turn the subject around to begin with because you can get a clear view, all right? Now, if you all take up your pencils, we can start.
Wouldn't do anything to get you to strife, King.
You know, you women have got so much initiative. It's a wonder any of you ended up inside at all.
I feel such an idiot.
Why?
Because I'm a woman close on 40 and I'm hiding in a cupboard.
Well, that makes two of us.
The worst thing is that now we are alone together, I don't know what to say.
Do we have to say anything? It's just nice to know we're not being watched.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to say something. I'm probably going to have to make do with these few minutes for the next 10 years. When you're on the outside, you think you've got all the time in the world to tell someone what you're feeling. After you've been inside for a while, you're lucky if you can remember what feeling means. Or if you do, how do you remember how to tell someone?
Do you know what I feel about you, B. Smith? You're a mixture of anger and fury and a lot of strength. You're a survivor. But you've still got a lot of softness and honesty and warmth. A woman like you is never going to know what it's like not to feel. I reckon I'm a very lucky man even to have met you.
Now, the more intricate the garment, of course, the longer it's going to take. But try not to finish any one section before you take in the whole sketch, all right? Otherwise, you're likely to end up with things out of proportion. Not to mention perspective. Yeah, that's all right. But to make the headdress look right, I think you should draw in the head first. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. But to get the head right, you have to determine the whole body length, right? That's the head in relation to the legs and the arms, etc. Give us a look. Yeah, well, that's all right. Actually, but the shading there's terrific.
Mr. Kelly, I'm sure you've seen enough. The women have to get to work now. Did you see an officer outside?
Yes, well, I think I've got it all.
Thank you.
Most interesting.
We've been conned, Mr. Stewart.
Watch out, me!
Get out of there.
Miss Bennett, this is what
Save it for the governor, Mr. Pierce. Although I'm sure she's not going to be too impressed with this sordid little affair.
He had nothing to
Shut
do
up,
with it.
Smith.
Come along, Mr. Pierce.
Hey, give that back to me, you bitch! Miss Bennett, stop her!
Will you put that down?
But she's the one that lagged on you.
Get to your cell, Gilmore. You go with her, Bryant, till we decide what punishment to give you. Anderson, you better get to your cell, too. I think you've just had your last day working in the garden. Smith, Birdsworth, the rest of you get to work until the governor decides what punishment to give you. Not you, Vincent. I would have thought a woman of your age would have a little bit more dignity, Smith. Clean up this mess. And after that, get to your cell. I think this little piece of stupidity has just cost you the right to paint.
A reporter was in that room, Mr. Pierce. Luckily, Miss Bennett had the presence of mind to see that he left in time. Can you imagine what the papers would have done with a story like that?
They would have probably seen it for what it was, Mrs. Davidson. A situation quite normal and harmless.
I am well aware it is not easy for the women in here, especially those serving long sentences. However, you were placed in a position of trust. We have had other men on our staff, but you are the first to have abused that position.
For spending 10 minutes alone with B, talking.
The rules are there to protect the women. You were placed in a very responsible position, Mr. Pierce. As far as I am concerned, you cannot handle that responsibility. I have no alternative but to ban you from Wentworth and to send a full report to the department.
Well, I would like to add a footnote to that report, Mrs. Davison. Quote, rehabilitation is a joke as long as the authorities' minds stay in the dark ages. Unquote.
Goodbye, Mr. Pierce.
Goodbye, Mrs. Davison.
It seems I should have listened to you about the art classes.
Oh, what's going to happen to Vincent?
Confiscate her art materials.
And Smith?
She is to be without privileges for a week.
She should be in solitary.
I think Smith has been punished quite enough.
Well, they know it was Gilmore who warned us. They're going to try and get back at her.
Yes. Move her to a single cell and have her rostered onto the kitchen. And make it known that if anything happens to that girl, Smith and her group will be held responsible.
Glad I found you alone at last, lass. I wanted to talk to you about, selling your house.
I don't want to.
Oh, there's plenty of other houses, you know.
Yeah, but that was my mother's and I want to live in it with me and Kevin.
You could be making a mistake.
What's it got to do with you, Mr. Stewart?
I'm just interested in where you're going to finish up, that's all.
Well, I know where I'm going to finish up, and that's in my house with Kevin.
No, it's not.
How do you know?
Let's just say I think you should reconsider for your own sake.
You can't tell me what to do with things like that. I'll go and tell Mrs. Davidson.
Oh, incidentally, I wouldn't tell anyone about a wee talk that we had, because I wouldn't like that. Not that anyone would believe you in any case. It'd only be your word against mine. And after that Kerry Vincent episode, I don't think people would be too keen on taking the word of a crim again, do you? Okay. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Just let you pull yourself together.
Smith and her lot are out to get me. I want protection.
You'll be safe.
I hate them as much as you do, Mr. Stewart. I was just thinking, maybe you and I could be of use to each other.
In what way?
Well, you could always see I get a few of the comforts of home, and I'll keep quiet about what I just heard.
You know, I think you and I'll go on just fine, Gilmore. Just fine.
Oh, please, just leave me some paintings.
I'm confiscating everything, Vincent.
But I have to work. Look, it's my life. It's the only thing that matters to me. Can't you understand that?
I know what it's like to lose something that matters. If you remember, I almost lost my job.
Oh, that's not the same thing at all.
You break the rules, you take the consequences.
Then put me in solitary. I don't care, but let me work. Leave me with something. No, it's still wet. Please, wait till it dries.
I'm taking the lot, Vincent. Now, out of my way.
No! Oh. Does that make you happy?
Your temper is what got you in here in the first place, Vincent. I'd watch it if I were you.
I thought you'd forgotten all about me.
Quite the opposite, Lizzie. Over the last few days, I've thought of little else but you.
Yeah? Captain Barton told me he's been trying to trace your children.
Oh. I didn't want to get him into any strife, Mrs. Davidson.
You haven't. Captain Barton thought you'd like to know what he's found out.
You mean you found out something about my kids?
Well, I went to the home where they put your children, and from their records and what they can remember, your two sons were fostered out relatively early. Now, it could take quite some time to trace them through Jigsaw and other organisations, and a lot depends on whether they wish to be contacted. However, we did have a little more luck with your daughter, Marcia. She left the home when she was 16, and kept in touch for some 8 years or so after that. And the last they heard of her, she said she was marrying someone in Melbourne. That was some 20 years ago. So I took the liberty of advertising, and I got a reply. A woman who says she is, or was, Marcia Birdsworth has answered the ad.
Hang on. Listen, can I give you a hand there, Miss Bennett?
Oh, thank you. I didn't realize Vincent had managed to accumulate so much.
Yeah, right. Got it.